Hi, my name's Leslie English and I'm one of the faculty librarians supporting the Faculty of Science and Technology. This video will introduce you to the APA style of referencing, which is used in psychology. You may have used APA or a different referencing style before. There are many available. There are author-date styles such as APA or Harvard, or numerical styles such as Vancouver. Here at Lancaster, you will be using 7th edition of APA, which was released towards the end of 2019. In this recording, I'll share the principles of referencing using APA style and explore how we reference using APA 7th edition. We will look at how to reference in text using citations and how to reference at the end of text using a reference list. This recording will be interactive and includes a few short quizzes, and when you've finished watching the recording, you should visit the APA 7th edition referencing jigsaw activity in Moodle to practice what you've learned. So, before we look at the specifics of APA referencing, the first section of the video includes 2 short quizzes to determine why we need to reference and what we need to reference. So in psychology, as I said, you need to reference using APA style, which is an author-date style of referencing. This means that you bring the author's surname and date of publication into your citations whenever you refer to the literature. I also mentioned that you'll be using the 7th edition of APA, and we have developed some comprehensive guidance over the summer, which is available on the library website. The link is on screen now. You can also look for the referencing tile on the library homepage to access this guidance. The green icon is also on slide now. There's an online guide and a downloadable guide. I find it really useful to print the guide off and have it next to me as I work. There's also the publication manual available in the library. However, there isn't an ebook version of the full guide, but I found the APA Style and Grammar online guide useful. So first I'm going to summarise the main rules of referencing. I know many of you will have referenced before, so this is just a quick recap. Your ideas and arguments need to be supported by evidence from the literature. If you don't use evidence, you may see feedback such as, "Where is this idea from?" or "Citation needed." This evidence, presented through citations in your essay, and the reference list at the end of your essay, needs to be formatted correctly. And make sure, if you use a citation, you remember to include the full reference in your reference list. This is always one of my last stages of proofreading to make sure they tie up. So on this screen, we can see an example of an in-text citation on the right-hand side and the information you need on the left-hand side. So for a citation, you need the author or the editor's surname, the year of publication, and the page number if you are using a direct quote. Although remember, it's not good academic practice to use direct quotes in your work. So in my essay, I would write Wickfield and Eccles with 2002 in brackets define academic motivation as. Another way to cite would be to write one definition of academic motivation is, and then I put the author's surnames followed by a comma and the year of publication inside the brackets. This may sound picky, but for APA referencing, always use the and symbol between the last 2 authors, not the word and. So this was a book reference. So in the reference list, we would need the author's surname followed by a comma followed by the first name initial, the year of publication in brackets followed by a full stop, the title of the book in italics followed by a full stop, the edition number if after the first edition, and finally the publisher followed by a full stop. And on the right, you can see the example of the reference. So we have Wickfield A and Eccles JS, who are the authors, the year of publication 2002, the title of the book, Development of Achievement Motivation, which is in italics, followed by a full stop. As this is the second edition, we need brackets, second ed, full stop, end of brackets, full stop. And finally, the publisher, Academic Press. So the difference between the 6th edition of APA, which some of you may be familiar with, and the 7th edition is that you no longer need the place of publication. So your reference list should be organised in alphabetical order in author surname. On this slide, you can see an example reference list. The first example is a report on a website. So we have the authors, followed by the year in brackets, the title of the report on the website, and then we have retrieved from and the full URL of the web page. The second example is a chapter of an edited book, and this is perhaps the most complicated reference type. So we have the author of the chapter, Butler, the year of publication, the title of the chapter, which is Motivation in Educational Context, Does Gender Matter? Then we need to say where who the editors of the book are. So I'm saying in LS Lieben and Bigler RS, and then followed by eds in brackets, so that stands for editors. Just note here how the first editor listed, his initials go before his surname, but the second editor, the initials go after the surname. Then we have the title of the whole book. So that's the title on the front cover of the book. And then I need to show the page numbers of the chapter. So pages 1 to 41. And finally, the publisher details, Academic Press. So you may be wondering what I mean by a chapter of an edited book. So some books you'll see have an editor or more than one editor, and each chapter may be written by a different author. So if you're reading one of those chapters, you need to cite the chapter rather than the whole book. For other books where there's one or two authors, you don't need to go into this detail. You would just reference the whole book. Okay, so the third example is a journal article. So again, we have the authors, the year of publication, the title of the article. So what makes a good student is the title of the article. Then have the title of the journal in italics. So here it's the Journal of Educational Psychology. I then need the volume and issue number. So that's 106 and then issue number 1. The page numbers of the full article, followed by the DOI if available. And the final reference is another book. So again, we have the authors, the year of publication, the title of the book in italics, and finally the publisher information, Academic Press. Don't worry about trying to remember the format right now. You can use the library's APA 7th edition Quick Start Guide to help you with your first few assessments, then it will become second nature. You now have a chance to practice what you've learned. So go over to Moodle, go to the referencing jigsaw activity and put the references in the correct order. Good luck!